Let's see the quick demo of file compression. So over here I have this 4 file compression, and my total file size is original file size 696, and here you can see the comparison. Like each comparison has their own after on comparison, and also there is a time taking process. So most probably it is taking 65 KB and this original file size, which is taking on a GZip and Brotli as well. So yeah, let's see that implementation part. So before I start implementation, I'm especially recommend, if you first time visit my channel, let's say .NET real world example, and then here if you want to integrate AI in any application and build app, mobile app, game development and full stack developer, so you can learn many things over here. So now moving start to implementation. So first of all, what I'll do, I simply open a new application in Visual Studio, and here I'll just create a new project over here quickly and use that console application. But later on we will use in our web application and another applications. So now I just make it name it over here. So I'll just make it project name is a compose file, and the next, and I'll just use the uh, default .NET 10 framework, create it. So once your project got created, now see, this is nothing special, only just simple program.cs file. And in here I'll just import one package because other package already inbuilt over here in .NET. But yeah, that standard, actually there is a uh, package which we have to import it over here. So simply go to that browse section in this import section and use this standard dot port file. And also if you see over here, this package actually also MIT license. So yeah, it is very but actually uh, free license of providing over here MIT, and we can utilize, also we can use it like .NET 10 version as well. So simply I can just install that. Yeah, once you install, now go back to that program.cs file, and in here we will start to implementations all that uh, compression package, and we also just compare which one is fine, which one is better. Okay, so for that, first what I'll do, I'll just simply create a sample uh, data over here. So simply I just create this base data which have this just few datas over here. But yeah, we will just increase the data based on our logic. So that I can do simply using this here. So let me little bit zoom in for you. So now I just make it a large data using this whatever data, I just repeat it over here, and just that 1 lakh times, not a 1 lakh, no more than 1 lakh or 10 lakhs actually. So it will just make it almost 600 MB file data. And then what I'll do, simply I can just make it as a raw data, as a byte data. So say I can just make it as a raw byte data over here, that large data, and as a converted to byte data. Then I'll just make it that formatting actually to show that our data over here. So before that, actually what I need to do, I required actually create two method over here. First is actually whatever the data, actually we have to just compare, so that compare logic. So for that I'll just create a run method over here. So yeah, this is that my run method which accept level data and this compress function. And also this is a quite which can JIT compiler actually to forcefully just enable to JIT compiler. And here I just using this stopwatch to show that all that comparison over here, and based on their time also how much time taking over there. And this is simple is for the JIT compiler. And now here ratio, we just get that ratio, and that simply I can just print out over here. And for formatting, for like how many MB or KB actually the data is we are passing over there. So for that, actually simply I can just create another function which can maintain or which can handle that whatever the data, it's convert to byte, KB, MB, GB, TB also. So once you just prepare this two method, run method and all, so now here I'll just create a header over there, so that whatever that comparison compose data, I can just make it a header like, okay, which method we are trying to use, how much time taking, and how much after comparison, what is the size over here, and what is that percentage of that uh, or is from that original size. Okay, then I'll just start for start to creating composing over here. but for composing definitely I'll just create a setup of composing. So first I'll just use GZip, which is most common standard and also good capability but slower, larger than others, right? So let me just create for that standard, GZip standard, where actually nothing, just calling this my run method, and we will just pass in our label method and compression data, and we just convert or compose that file whatever data to in our GZip, right, which is inbuilt over here, right, and simply pass it over here. So this is for GZip. And then second for I'll use the default. So let me create that also. So it is just similar things over here, so using the default, and here I just convert as a default, compose the default, and just test it over here. And default also actually is a similar to GZip but without the 18-byte header and footer, but use heavily in the zip files also, right? And now third one I will try to use over here, Brotli. So let me add that also. Yeah, so now I'll just use the Brotli mechanism where I just convert or compose the Brotli, and it is just Brotli actually created by Google, and it is usually achieve that smallest file size for the text and JSON, but it can be very slow during the composer. And yeah, the final one I'll just try to use over here, that is a Z status, so which is a very powerful as of now, which I just observed. But yeah, definitely you can share your thought over here. So yeah, jet standard basically created by Meta, and it's aimed to faster that JetZip while being the smaller than JetZip, and finding that sweet spot and for high performance apps actually. So yeah, we don't worry, we will just run and see which one is better and which one actually reduce that composition and how much time taking over there. And yeah, yeah, I think that pretty much good. Now I just create all this four standard or four actually mechanism to compose this file, and simply we can run it and see that differences. So simply if I just run it, now application got run, and over here see all that one, and let me zoom it for you. So here I can see the original file size is 696 MB, which is just JetZip actually take a 357 millisecond, and it is reduced to 4 MB to 69 MB. This is a very uh, nice or very composed perfectly, right, or also very standard, right? And also if you see the original size of this 7.7%, and if you talk about the default, it is also reduce the time to compose, and but it is taking the same compose size. And also if I see that Bortly, which is taking more size, more time to compose, rather than zip and default, but reduce that compose file is very less, rather than like it is taking the 4 MB, but it is see it is taking only just 1.14 KB only, right? And if I talk about that jet standard, now see it is taking all that much time to the other three, but it is also composed 665 KB also, which is actually pretty much good over here, right? So yeah, these are actually way you can just use compose your file in your application. So yeah, which one is better for you, which one is suit for you, please feel free comment on that. And yeah, and one more thing actually we will just add it over here, as like we just run it without zip compiler. So if we trying to zip compiler on a second time, we will trying to compose, definitely that whatever time taking, right, so that we can reduce it. So for that simply I can just use another test over here. Before start, I can just use as a run test, which is warm up, and which pass it whatever that composer file, and simple as a composer, and I can just pass it to this quite to true, so that it is not giving the result, but it is just simply uh, compile the jit, right? And now let me run it again. Now you can see over here. So after using the JIT compiler, so previously it was 600, right? So now see, reduced to half only, so now 300 only. So yeah, the JIT compiler actually helps to making to reduce your time for the jet standard, but other one I can see all almost is there, not a very huge differences, but yeah, only just help to jet standard to you know reduce that your compose time, right? So yeah, that is the way actually you can just use it, just jet standard or other one, so which one is better. So that's all for this session. Thank you, have a nice day, and don't forget to like, subscribe and share.